Call the meeting to order.
Sorry. The meeting has been posted according to open meeting laws.
Roll call.
President Seeger.
Here.
Trustee Alexander.
Here.
Trustee Nugent. Here. Trustee Johnson.
Here.
Trustee Minucci.
Here.
Trustee Smalley.
Here.
And Trustee Wisniewski.
Here.
Thank you.
So, citizen participation per Village Resolution 2017-01. Anyone wishing to address the village board during citizen participation will be allowed 5 minutes. Your subject can be anything, whether on the agenda or not. The village board should not engage in discussion regarding comments because it was not part of a publicly noticed agenda. Upon conclusion of the citizen participation segment, members of the audience are not allowed further comment unless they are participating in a public hearing or specifically allowed by a majority vote of the village board due to involvement in an agenda item. With that being said, would anybody like to speak during citizen participation? Val, come on up. Make sure you come to the podium, hit the microphone, and state your name and address.
Hello, everyone. My name is Val Aid, and I live on South Street. It's 3051 South Street in the village here. I haven't been coming to many of the village board meetings, but I chose to come today because I have an important issue for myself. No one else, just for me. First of all, I know the board has a lot of work. I mean, you guys do a lot of work. You got your fingers in a lot of pots, so to speak, and you're doing a good job. You know, you really are. It's a huge job. But one of the things I wanted simply to state my disappointment, okay? And that is, first of all, I live on the impoundment, okay, and I live on the west end of the impoundment. And I heard through rumor that the village ran out of money to like $200,000, and then also there was some geological problems with maybe extending it to the west side of this impoundment. One point is, I think the homeowners that are around the impoundment would appreciate an update occasionally. You know, just a mass email or something to let us know what's going on. Because right now, for myself, it's just scuttlebutt, so to speak, you know, and it would be much more advantageous if we had something to look at. Okay, so that was one suggestion I have. And the other one is, unfortunately, and, you know, it's an opinion, it's a feeling, okay, it's a feeling. Village has decided to stop moving the stream north, midpoint just about of the impoundment. What I had heard was, you know, the cost, money had expired, okay, or there wasn't enough money, and the other one, they weren't certain that the stream on the southwest end would remain where they redirected it, okay? That's only hearsay. I don't know, is that the truth? Is it not? But that is what I heard, and in my mind, the one half of the people on the impoundment get the advantage of their water view, okay? We all had a water view for many years. Now that some adjustments are being made, and I understand that the dam had to be removed, and I'm talking too much already. But anyways, I'm disappointed. It feels unfair. That's what it feels. It feels unfair that my end of the street, so to speak, isn't getting the same benefit the others is. Life is unfair. I realize that. However, I think that maybe some better bidding could have been done in the beginning, or a more thorough geological exploration. You know, are you taking one person's word for it about the the geology and the stream on my end moving back to where it was? I don't know. You know, where's this information coming from? So again, I do appreciate the village board, okay? I know you guys work hard and you're very sincere and all those things. And I know also you can please some of the people some of the time, but you can't please all the people all the time. But this, I think, it just feels a little specialized for one group of people, okay, in my mind. And I'm not that group of people. So that's all I got, and that's all I wanted to say. So I hope you guys hear me. You know, please hear me. If you can make any changes, like the mass email would be great. And does it mass? I don't know, just the homeowners, whatever you choose, it would be very helpful, because people they want to know what's going on. This affects what they're looking at when they go to, well, for me, it's when I go to my kitchen table, right? I look out the window and now I see a lot of dump trucks, and it's fine. I'm so glad the weeds are gone. Hooray! I complained about that for a couple of years, and they are on their way out, or from what I can see, almost gone. So to that degree, there, you know, in my eyes, there has been improvement. But I do feel kind of gypped. That's what it is. I feel gypped because I'm on, so to speak, the wrong side of the street. And I'll pass with that. Thank you.
Thanks, Val. And I know we're not supposed to engage in conversation, but Val, just to let you know, we didn't run out of money. It was additional $208,000 to move just that west end of the stream. And by way of engineers as well as DNR, they had identified that stream bed would most likely go back to its natural path, and that doing the changes wouldn't hold, and that $208,000 would have just gone down the stream. All right, anybody else that would like to speak during citizen participation? Adam, please come to the mic and state your name and address.
My name is Adam Lamar. I live on County Road ES here in East Troy. Village board members, my name is Adam Lamar, and I'm currently running for school board, but I am here today representing our square to address the huge issue of handicap parking without proper signs on the square. My wife, who's worked on the village square for 17 years, has seen a lot of changes, both good and bad. Although the number of parking spots has increased overall, on specific sides of the square it has also decreased. It's also made very complicated for parking with handicapped. I'm sure looking at me, you may wonder why this is even an issue. But let me be honest and upfront with all of you. I have a child with special needs. There are days he's in excruciating pain. There are days he's in a wheelchair. There are days he's in braces and needs an extra hand to walk. There are also days that he's perfectly fine. And I know what it's like to need a handicap space. My wife also took care of an ill mother for several years, who, too, needed assistance to utilize the handicap parking until she passed away recently. I am also aware some of the members of the board with direct family members who this impacts as well. The salon my wife works at has a handicap spot located right in front of their window. All the employees see the amount of misuse of the handicap spot because of improper signage. Every day, throughout the day, people come and go and use the handicap spot without a placard. Ladies of the salon are currently stopping what they're doing to inform the individuals of their inappropriate parking. Some care, others don't. There's been a time when the police were called, even by a handicapped woman who was told by law enforcement it's a legal spot. Sounds like a lot of misinformation and undereducation is going around town over this. It's upsetting to me and the community. Why are we not following proper codes and guidelines? This should have been in place when we first laid the concrete. It could easily become a federal lawsuit, but more importantly, we are discussing human decency here. I've given each of you several documents to review the laws regarding the issue. First is the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division's Disability Rights Selection. On page 2 highlighted is the requirement, sign with the international symbol of accessibility mounted high enough so it can be seen while the vehicle is parked in the space. Given the federal law requires this, we can also see it as necessary given the pictures from the past winter, where the non-East Troy resident would never know that this is designed for handicap parking. I've also highlighted concerns for snow removal in a timely manner. Hopefully that will be taken into account next winter. Lastly, I've also provided the Wisconsin Code, Chapter 346.503, Section 2, where it states the owner or lessee subject to the requirement of the sub shall post official traffic signs indicating that spaces are reserved. This indicates this is required on a state level as well. Mr. Seeger, I know we have had this discussion previously a few times. With every polite concern my wife has brought to you in regards to this, and myself coming to you, you have chosen to ignore this issue. Not only is it insulting, but it is disrespectful not only to my son, but all the other community members and visitors who are handicapped. This shouldn't be tolerated by anybody. And it is disheartening that I have to stand here and defend those less fortunate individuals over ignorance. I'm here to make this wrong right. I hope that you take this matter seriously in order to help fix the issue from happening again, because it is clear to me that we are not following proper ADA compliance from both a federal and a state level. If I am in some way wrong reading this documentation differently than you, please contact me with the appropriate documentation that proves otherwise. Look forward from hearing back from you with this issue in hopes that there is a positive change for our community without discrimination.
Thank you. Anybody else that would like to speak during citizen participation?
I'm Tammy Bartoli. It's a long address. You ready? W313 S6637 Spring Drive, and that is Mukwonago. And I just wanted to introduce myself to you. Now that Jeff Gartman is officially done, I am now the library director for the East Troy Lions Community Library. Some of you know me well. Jason's already gotten several emails. Eileen is next. And I know many of your faces, but you might not know mine. So that's all I wanted to say is hello.
Hello. Welcome, and thank you for taking on such a very daunting task of being our library director. Anybody else that would like to speak during citizen participation? Anybody else that would like to speak during citizen participation? No, then I'll close citizen participation and move on to consent agenda. One motion and a second will approve all. Any item may be pulled from the list and voted on separately.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
I would like item number 2 pulled, please. I guess the main question I had about item number 2 in that issue was, I wasn't sure how that was going to work, because I do remember some time ago that does the new, when the hangar lease is changed over, does it continue with the time frame, or is there a new time frame instilled? How does that work? Because I remember back, there was a long time ago that, believe it or not, there were 40-year leases. And I know that we're 50, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
10 years short again, what can I say? But I guess I'd just like to know, does the party take over the remainder of the time, or does the clock wind back? How does this work?
When they are assigned that lease, so they take over that time frame. This particular lease technically expires next year, but it does have a 20-year automatic renewal.
We are in the process of reviewing the standard lease to address the specific concern, because some of the leases are not as clear as what Lori just pointed out there, so that this will be put to rest.
And I appreciate it. I just, sometimes I'm not really sure what, so, thank you.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to miscellaneous business. Consider approval of application by East Troy Key Club for a special event at the dog park on Sunday, May 22nd, 2022, from 1 to 3 to dedicate 2 trees and agility equipment to the park. Event chairperson Shannon Venegas, contingent upon receipt of certificate of insurance.
We have received that insurance.
Jason, you're cool with this?
Yeah, there's some questions yet about the agility equipment that we've inquired on, and I don't think.
We've gotten some that were included in here, but we have requested final, approval of the location, and they have agreed to do the gravel underneath it for maintenance.
But otherwise, yes.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Consideration of recommendation from CDA to award the following facade grants up to the maximum amounts listed. J&S on Main Street, LLC. It's Dadlepin Properties, LLC. East Troy, LLC. Any questions for you about any
I was
of
gonna say, it looks great.
Yeah, the renderings look fantastic, I think, yeah.
And I know there's already some work getting started, so I'm excited to see what all this looks like. I'll make a motion to approve the CDA awards to the listed grants up to the maximum.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to abstain from B. Can you break those up into three?
Sure. So, make a motion for each one of
Or
those?
two.
then? Motions?
Yeah, I'll make a motion, the same motion for A and C.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Same motion for B.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. All right, consideration of donation to support Walworth County's Clean Sweep program.
Okay, so Chelsea brought this to me. I'm not sure if the board's aware of the Clean Sweep program or not, but it's a program Walworth County hosts where businesses and residents can bring hazardous goods to the county and they're properly disposed of. Public Works, we use it, we use the business side of things for all facilities, fluorescent lights, specific batteries, chemicals, things like that. We'll take those there. That's the Friday program. Now, we do pay to drop those materials off, but the residential side, which is the Saturday program, that is covered by the county. There's no charge for that. We think it's an important program for the county. The benefit, the county gets a lot of benefit of it, getting a lot of those hazardous materials out of places like treatment plants and landfills and things like that. So the county is funding it, but there is a shortfall. So they're asking for municipalities to make up some of that shortfall. And what they had requested was their formula essentially was essentially their shortfall is $10,000 for the year, and they had said take that times the number of patrons you have in your community, and that comes up to roughly $1,500. I went about it a little bit different. I took the shortfall divided by the number of municipalities in the county, and that comes up to roughly $300. So that's why in the memo I had suggested up to $1,200. If the board is interested in this, we need to know that and what level you'd be comfortable contributing. The other thing I had considered is if this is something you're interested in, that maybe in your motion, you mentioned that we would do this annually if that's something you're so interested in.
Jason, I think it's a great idea to help fund this, frankly, because everybody's got that TV that went out. Everybody's got an old PC they want to get rid of. Yeah, and you can't turn everything into a coffee table. I think it's fantastic. I would move to approve your recommendation of donating up to $1,500 annually to help funding of.
I'll second that. Yeah, I've used it myself. I was trying to understand more about the shortfall. So is that because costs from Veolia have increased?
So if you look in the memo, they're using the, already went on to the next thing, sorry. So if you look at the table there in the memo, they get the tipping fees from the Darien landfill. That goes towards the clean sweep expenses, right? So in 21, the clean sweep expenses were $95,988. Excuse me. And then, so they put those tipping fees that are generated by the landfill towards that, and then you have the expenses covered to the $10,478.
I see, okay.
And so the way the county calculated this, or the money they're asking for, is the average cost per participant times the number of participants from your community, and that's where we come up with approximately $1,500. Like I said, I did it the opposite way. I went back to the shortfall, the $10,478, and divided it out over 29, I think 27 or 29 municipalities in the county, and that's where I came up with in the area of $300 to $400.
I agree with this and definitely want to keep doing it going forward. I would just like to find a way to better highlight it, because I know I only became aware of it years ago by calling somebody at the county or something. This was before I was on the board. So I just reminding people in our newsletters or social media posts and stuff that this is out there, because it's also, a lot of times I'm like, oh, it's this Saturday. I didn't get my stuff together. I guess I'll set it aside and wait 6 months.
And that is one thing that we've asked, is it possible to have a second? And just because of the cost already, it doesn't seem likely.
Well, how many people here have gone over in the morning to drop off stuff and seen a line of 50 cars already out there by Double N, where the county highway department is? And I've gone to run errands and come back 2 hours later, and there's 60 cars lined up there now. And it's almost impossible to get in there to get stuff dropped off when you legitimately have things, either paint or whatever it is. It's just the access to be able to deal with this is extraordinarily time-consuming and tedious.
Mm-hmm.
And I think before we give this money to Walworth County, we ask them if they might be able to work a solution where people could get in and drop it off without having to spend half a day.
So I don't know. So I have worked this event before. They've asked for volunteers in the past, and I've worked it. They do move the cars pretty quickly. So they've got a great setup over there. They've got the real estate to do it, and you basically pull in the building, and you don't even get out of your car. They unload you and move you right along. So, I mean, I don't know if you've waited for the line to go down, but it really does move pretty quick.
Just by your description, it sounds like it's a pretty popular event and something we need to make.
It is. I just wish they'd make it a little more customer-friendly.
There's a motion and a second, right? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carries. Consideration of participation in Department of Natural Resources Drinking Water, PFAS sampling program. Jason?
Okay, so in spring of 22, the DNR is doing a voluntary PFAS, polyfluoroalkylid substance, sampling in drinking water. This is likely as early as probably 23 to be in the regulations and something we have to test for. My thinking is to get out ahead of this and find out if we do have it. If we do have it, we can begin to plan for that. We can begin to educate the residents and plan for it. PFAS are the forever chemicals. They don't go away. They are being found in drinking water in other areas of our state. Not really a lot around here yet, but it's until we test, we really don't know the answer to that. So that's why I think it's important that we do the testing. Right now, the DNR is willing to pay for the testing, so that's another plus at this point. I do want to point out, however, that if we are found to have levels of PFAS over the regulation, we have to notify all our residents.
What's that gonna do then to our well system?
It would truly depend on the levels that are found. I mean, if we find it in one well, it could be something as simple, and I hate to use the term simple, but as shutting off one well. But then if you're shutting off one well, then maybe, then you have to explore another well. So until we've done some testing, I don't know. I suspect we're not going to find it in a level that we're gonna be concerned about, but then again, you know, until we test, we don't know.
And also for just general information, that the foam chemicals, the stuff that they've been using, they figure that it's been causing this is now no longer allowed to be used, correct?
That is correct. And the areas of the state where they're finding us, they have sources they can point to, right? So it was used a lot in firefighting foam. That's the biggest use of it in the state of Wisconsin, and there are areas where there were spills, where it was manufactured, things like that. So, but it's really caused the state to look at all drinking water programs as a whole, and that's why they're offering this testing up.
Is it kinda like, 5-10 years ago, they were big on nitrites and all that stuff in the wells?
This is the current hot topic for DNR, yes.
It makes sense to test for it now, so that if we need to do something in the future, we can budget for it at budget. Makes sense, yeah. Do we need a motion on this, or is this just a consensus
I would
thing?
like to have a motion on this.
Well, I'll make a motion to proceed with cost testing that the state is providing at no cost.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consideration of 12/31/21 fund balance designation. Any questions for Eileen and her memo?
Two motions.
Correct, I'm looking for two motions, operational transfer.
Make a motion to approve the fund balance assignments as presented.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Make a motion to approve the $195,000 operational transfer from general fund balance to capital fund, with $80,000 being assigned to the dam project and the remaining $115,000 being left in future capital projects.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
And I would ask that, is it Kevin, we get the executive.
I feel like I've heard that request before.
All right, moving on to ordinances and resolutions. Resolution 2022-05, consider amending Resolution 2021-22, creating new wards based on 2020 census to add 2 wards to accommodate new congressional district lines. Do you have any questions on this?
I think I have lots of questions, but none that are
I
applicable. I don't think we have much of a choice.
I don't think I can answer them, and again, it could change.
This does not affect the voting for the actual village board. This is more for our state representation, correct?
This is for federal level,
Federal?
yeah.
Okay.
And one of the new wards has no population. One of the wards has no population.
So then that representative will have an easy job then?
Yeah,
How do they choose
the
these?
primary schools,
How do
the
they
primary
choose these?
schools, and then they split Trojan subdivision oddly. For the first time, we will have 2 ballot styles when we get to those.
What does that do for our election costs?
I don't think it'll change it too much. We'll have to order 2 different styles. So, I mean, we could have extra, but right now, I don't even know how many electors are in Ward 8 because I don't have access to the census block populations anymore. All of the numbers that we had to follow for the guidelines when we redid the districting last time, they told us they didn't matter anymore because of sorry.
Not your fault.
Well, I'll move to approve resolution 2022-05.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. On to reports, CDA minutes from 1:24. Any questions? No? Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Meeting adjourned.